Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki. We welcome all the devotees to this wonderful Srimad Bhagavatam discussion. We're reading from Canto 3, chapter 21st, verse 52 and 54. Discussion between Shri Kardamba Muni Ji and Manu, Swayambhu Manu. Verse 52 to 54. The 3 verses. So we will start. Na yadaratham asthaya yaitram mani ganarpitam vispruch chand kodand rathena trasyan aghan savasainya charanam kushnanam vaipam mandalam bhuva vikarshan prahitam senam Pryatasi anshuman eva. Tadaiva sateva sarve varnashram nimandhana bhagvat rachita rajan bhiderena bat dasyubhi. Tadaiva sateva sarve varnashram nimandhana bhagvat rachita rajan bhiderena bat dasyubhi. Tadaiva siteva sarve varnashram nimandhana bhagavat rachita rajan bhidherene batasyubhi. Synonyms. Na, not yada, when pratham the chariot, astaya, having mounted, jaitram, victorious, money of jewels, gana, with cluster, arpitam, bedecked, vispurjat, twanging, chanda, a fearful sound just to punish the criminals, kodna, bow, rathena, by the presence of such a chariot, Tarsyan, threatening, aghan, all the culprits, swasainya, of your soldiers, charana, by the feet, shunam, trampled, bepayan, causing to tremble, mandalam, the globe, bhuva, of the earth, vikarshan, leading, brihitam, huge, senam, army, paryatasi, you roam about, anshuma, the brilliant sun, ev, like, tada, then, ev, certainly, stevaha, religious codes, survey, all, varna of varnas, ashrama of ashramas, nibandhana, obligations, bhagavat, by the Lord, rachita, created, rajan, O king, bhiderena, they would be broken, but alas, dasyubhi, by rogues. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. If you did not mount your victorious jeweled chariot, whose mere presence threatens culprits, if you did not produce fierce sounds by the twanging of your bow, and if you did not roam about the world like the brilliant sun, leading a huge army, whose trampling feet cause the globe of the earth to tremble, then all the moral laws governing the varnas and ashramas created by the Lord himself would be broken by the rogues and rascals. Purport. It is the duty of a responsible king to protect the social and spiritual orders in human society. The spiritual orders are divided into 4 ashramas: brahmacharya, grihasthas, vanaprastha, and sannyas. And the social orders, according to work and qualification, are made up of brahmanas, kshatriyas, the vaishyas, the shudras. These social orders, according to the different grades of work and qualification, are described in the Bhagavad Gita. Unfortunately, for want of proper protection by responsible kings, the system of social and spiritual order has now become a hereditary caste system. But this is not the actual system. Human society means that society which is making progress towards spiritual realization. The most advanced human society was known as Arya. Arya refers to those who are advancing. So the question is, which society is advancing? Advancement does not mean creating material necessities unnecessarily and thus wasting human energy in aggravation over so-called material comforts. Real advancement is advancement towards spiritual realization, and the community which acted toward this end was known as the Aryan civilization. The intelligent men, the Brahmanas, as exemplified by Kadamba Muni, were engaged in advancing the spiritual cause, and Kshatriyas, like Emperor Swambhu, used to rule the country and ensure that all facilities for spiritual relations were nicely provided. It is the duty of a king, it is the duty of the king to travel all over the country and see that everything is in order. Indian civilization, on the basis of the 4 varnas and ashramas, deteriorated because of a dependency on foreigners, or those who did not follow the civilization of an ashram. Thus, the varnashram system has now been degraded into the caste system. The institution of 4 varnas, 4 ashramas is confirmed herewith to be Bhagavat Rachita, which means designed by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In Bhagavad Gita, this is also confirmed, Chatur Varnam Maya Srishtam. The Lord says that the institution of 4 Varnas and 4 ashramas is created by me. Anything created by the Lord cannot be closed or covered. The divisions of Varnas and ashramas will continue to exist, either in the original form or, but because they're created by the Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they cannot be extinguished. They are like the sun, a creation of God, and therefore will remain. Either covered by clouds or in a clear sky, the sun will continue to exist. Similarly, when the Varnashram system becomes degraded, it appears as a hereditary caste system. But in every society, there is an intelligent class of men, a martial class, a mercantile class, and a liberal class. When they're regulated for cooperation among communities, according to the Vedic principles, then there is peace and spiritual advancement. I'll read this again. When they are regulated for cooperation among communities according to the Vedic principles, then there is peace and spiritual advancement. But when there is hatred and malpractice and mutual mistrust in the caste system, the whole system becomes degraded. And as stated herein, it creates a deplorable state. At the present moment, the entire world is in this deplorable condition because of giving rights to so many interests. This is due to the degradation of the 4 castes of Varnas and Ashramas. Om Gyan Timrandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam jena tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam jena bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadameham Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Jutapad Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Shri Rupam Sagar Jatam Sahagana Raghunatham Tam Sajivam Sadhvaitam Savdutam Parijana Sangitam Krishna Chaitanya Dev Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakamitam. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deen Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kant Radha Kanta Namastate Tapta Kanchan Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Puri Vanchakalpa Turuvyaksha Kripa Sindhu Vivja Patitanam Pavane Bhyo Vaishnave Bhyo. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasati Gaura Bhatta. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram. Hare Krishna. So we're discussing, the context is one of the greatest sages in Brahma's creation, Shri Kardamba Muni Ji, Prajapati also. He has performed austerities because he is ordered by the Lord himself to create progeny. So to purify his senses, to make her qualification somewhat suitable to be a progenitor, he performed austerities on the banks of Mother Saraswati, River Saraswati, place called Bindu Sarovar. And now Swayambhu Manu, he himself appeared with his wife and his daughter on the scene to offer his daughter to Shri Kadamba Muni in a marriage. So after seeing the king of the universe at that time, Swayambhu Manu, Shri Kadamba Muni, who is sage, celibate at that time, so in Brahmachari ashram, he's a Brahmana. He has performed tapasya. He's a Brahmana and a Brahmachari, and King Swayambhu Manu is a Kshatriya and a Grihastha. So here Srila Prabhupada bring this beautiful purport of Varna Ashram, the true Varna Ashram, the Daivi Varna Ashram system, in which there is a great respect from each Varna and Ashram. And here we see example created by these two great leaders of the human society. Kadamba Muni, leader. Swayambhu Manu is a leader in their own circle. They are leaders because they both are progenitors. They both are creating a legacy. So Brahmana is creating a legacy by giving great respect to Kshatriya. Kadamba Muni is glorifying. In the last verse, I believe he mentioned that you take the form of Agni, Vayu, and you're like Vishnu. That's what Kadamba Muni told to Swambhu Manu. The word used was you're protecting energy of Lord Hari in the form of Lord Vishnu. These are the praises, the glorification from a Brahmana sage, Kadamba Muni, from his lotus mouth, for the Kshatriya king Swambhu Manu comes. So this is a culture. This is a Varna Ashram culture, Aryan culture. Srila Prabhupada mentioned in the purport. And this Varna Ashram is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita, Chaturvarna Maya Srishtam. And here in this verse, Bhagavat Rachita Rajan king, this Varna Ashram Nimandhana, this Varna Ashram system is also created by Bhagavat Rachita, by the Lord himself. Srila Prabhupada beautifully explains that in the purport as well. So this culture of respect is very important. And I think I highlighted something here. I lost. Here, when they are regulated, they mean the people who follow the Varnashram system. When they are regulated for cooperation among communities, according to the Vedic principles, then there is peace and spiritual advancement. So, how is that these devotees get, these people following Aryan, who follow the Vedic Varnashram system, they become regulated and they become respectful to each other. So there is a cooperation. So I'll quote, we have only 10 minutes to go. Example of Parikshit Maharaj. When Parikshit Maharaj when he saw Kali, now he's a Kshatriya, he's a king, just like Swambhu Manu. Because we read a lot in this verse, there is a lot to do with, in the translation you see, a lot to do with bows and sounds and trampling feet, global earth tremble. There's a lot going on from the Kshatriya side, the king side, to protect the citizens, the good people who are following the Varnashram system, to protect them from the rogues and rascals. Kshatriyas have to do a lot. So this example is same in the line of Swambhu Manu, just like he was protecting, going around, traveling on this earth. Similarly, when Parikshit Maharaj was traveling, touring his kingdom, he also noticed this Kali personified trying to kill the bull. And he stopped him. He stopped Kali. He said, "You cannot do that. I will punish you." So that seems to be, and in this case, you might think that Swambhu Manu is also traveling around and creating these sounds and fear in the hearts of the people. Is this something? Isn't this something arrogant on the part of the king to create fear in the heart of people? So Parikshit Maharaj also tried to create fear in the heart of the Kali. But in Canto 1, I was listening, it's very beautiful that Parikshit Maharaj, when he catch hold of Kali, he said, you can't kill bull and the cows because they have taken my shelter. Mat sharne. He used the word in the verse, Mat sharne. That all the citizens of my kingdom, including the poor animals, because they have taken my sharne, my shelter, therefore you cannot kill. I will protect. But then the next verse, it's very beautiful how Kshatriya, what I just want to bring out this one point in this whole purport, that how Kshatriya are not rough and tough, how they're very much grounded, especially Kshatriyas who are following the Varnashram system. Why they become so dear to the Brahmanas? Why, in this case, Swambhu Manu becomes so worshipable for Kardamba Muni, who's a Brahmana, who's a sage. There is something in this category of Kshatriya, of Swambhu Manu, Parikshit Maharaj, that they become so dear. Parikshit Maharaj becomes so dear to Shukadeva Goswami, and thousands and thousands of other sages appear on the scene when he's ready to leave. What is there in these Kshatriyas? Is that rough and tough protection? No, there is much more. So in this particular story of Parikshit Maharaj, when he says that this bull and cow have taken my sharan, mat sharane, in the next verse, he says to the Kali, he said, you have, it seems like you have you have taken the liberty to kill the cow and the bulls. It seems like because Krishna and Arjuna is not on the scene anymore. Use the word Yastvam Krishne Gate Duram. Krishne Gate Duram. Sah Gandiva Danava. The Gandiva Danava who's having the Gandiva bow, which is Arjuna. Krishna Gate Duram. Krishna and Arjun, who are not present now. Therefore, you have taken the liberty of killing these innocent animals. And then the next verse, he says, Na yat korvam indranam. He said, this has never happened in the lineage of the Kauravas. So these are the three verses from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 7, verse 6, verse 5, 6, and 8. And it's very beautiful that Parikshit Maharaj, who's a Kshatriya, is trying to protect. He's saying, these animals have taken these citizens of the kingdom, they have taken my Sharana. But he's not boasting that I am the protector. Therefore, I will do everything. His base is grounded by, he's taking shelter of Krishna and Arjuna. He's taking shelter of his lineage of Kauravas. So one devotee very beautifully mentions, he said, the leader quality, the king quality, the Kshatriya quality, or a Brahmana quality. Brahmanas are leaders, Kshatriyas are leaders, Vaishyas are leaders in their own domain. He said these you can compare with an arrow. Arrow has three components. One is the tip of the arrow. Second is the frame or the shaft of the arrow. And third is the feather that's all the way at the end, the other end of the arrow. Three things. So tip of the arrow is like for a Kshatriya, for Parikshit Maharaj, for Swayambhu Manu, is like their own qualification, their own tapasya, their own austerities, their own tapa, the dan, the charity they perform, the austerities they perform, the sacrifices they perform. That's the tip of the arrow. Mat Sharane. When Parikshit Maharaj says Mat Sharane, that's the tip of the arrow. But then they take the arrow itself, the tip is not enough. Even if it has the best nuclear weapon, without the shaft, without the body, without the good frame of the arrow will not be able to do its business. It will not go very far. So in this case, Parikshit Maharaj, in Swayambhu Manu case, it's Lord Brahmaji and Lord Vishnu. They take shelter in their lineage. Parikshit Maharaj takes shelter, the weight, the shaft provides the weight, the frame of the arrow provides the weight. That weight comes from the Kaurava lineage. Parikshit Maharaj is remembering that in my lineage of Kaurava Indriya, in that lineage, nobody shed tears so far. So how can now I see bull and cows shedding tears? So he's remembering. And then the feathers in the arrows give direction. Without that direction, the arrow will not go to the right place. It will keep the arrow on the right path. So having shelter of Krishna and Arjun, Parikshit Maharaj is finding that direction. Swayambhu Manu is finding directions. So these kind of Kshatriyas, the leaders, the Brahmanas, who are not just dependent on their own qualification, Mata Sharane, but they depend on Krishna, they depend on their lineage, they depend on their tradition, they depend on their mentors, they depend on their gurus. Those leaders follow the Varna Ashram system automatically. They don't have to necessarily announce, or we all community don't have to announce that this person is following Varna Ashram system and this person is not. When there is this 3-point check system in everything we do, when we follow, then we are the follower of the Varnashram system, even in this Kali Yuga. Our Srila Prabhupada, His Divine Grace, before he was leaving this planet, he was appealing to the devotees that please, please, please set up Varnashram system. He said, set up a Varnashram college. It will make crude people to gentleman people. So that's something, a service that Srila Prabhupada left for his followers to follow. That's something we all have some responsibility to carry on in service of His Divine Grace. Thank you very much. At 7 o'clock, we'll stop here. Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnava. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Vaishnava ki jai.
Thank you, Devakinandan Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Dhanyavad.
Hare. We'd like to wish you all a safe and Krishna conscious day ahead. We'd like to offer our prayers to the Supreme Lord by chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Shri Nrsimha
Ugraviram Mahavishnu Sarvatomukham Nasivabhishanam Bandham Nityam Namamyaham.
नरसिंह भगवान की जय, हनुमान महाराज की जय. Let's offer our humble obeisances to all the assembled Vaishnavas. Vancha
Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha.
ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, शिला प्रभुपाद की जय, और प्रेमानंदे.
Hari Hari. Thank you, Devakinandan Prabhuji. Thank you, everyone.